Hello, welcome back to my channel. Um, Today is part one of a four-part series of my journey. So today I'm going to start with my life and how it was growing up. So this is part one. This is the beginning of the end of my old life. So well, I ain't gonna say the end, but anyway, this is part one. So in this series, I'm going to talk about my childhood. I'm going to talk about my teenagers and going into my adulthood. So first of all, I want to thank everyone that came to watch my channel, turned on, listen, and I just pray that you get some out of this. So this is coming from me. This is who I am. This is what I do. So, and I just thank God that I'm able to do it in this manner. So, I'm at work, and so I'm not gonna be able to like talk real loud, but you hear me. But anyway, so first of all, growing up, childhood was beautiful. I felt like I had the best childhood a child could have. My mama, my father, you know, it was six of us, which is still six of us, but six, I was the baby. Well, I am the baby. And child was great. I just had normal parents. I mean, sometimes they argued, sometimes they didn't, but bad, never had a bad child. So, you know, it's just, that's my look, you know, out. So, childhood was great. I did have some challenges, you know. I was bullied at one point. I ain't gonna say I was bullied, but yeah, I was, I guess to a point, or I was just, I'm gonna say I didn't like school. You know, I wanted to be home with my mother, and, you know, I just didn't like school. I was just, I didn't like school. You know, kids are cruel, and they was back then, and they are now. So, those are the problems that I had growing up as a child. Never issues in my house pertaining to raising up as a child. You know, loving parents, never worried about food, clothes, none of that. None of that. So I feel like I had a good childhood. I mean, some people may look into my childhood and they may feel like, well, you know, you didn't have the best, but I did to me. And everybody feels the way they feel about their childhood. And you may think yours is the greatest, and mine is not, but there's That's what you choose to feel. So feel the way you feel about your life and what you went through, and that allow other people to feel the way they feel. Everybody is not going to feel the way you feel. So the challenges I had was going to school, people not liking you, just different stuff like that. So those are the challenges that I have, and I feel like it affected me as an adult at some point, you know, to the point where, was it to the point where I had to do counseling and all that? No, because I overcame it. But so that's my childhood. I don't have a lot to talk about. Like nothing really tragic happened or nothing like that. Um, but at the age of 18, I think I was 18, and my father, he died, passed away. He got sick, went in the hospital, and didn't come out. So that tore me up. I was in my 12th grade year, and it tore me up. I was bitter, I was angry, because once I got to high school, the bullying and all that, it stopped. Because, let me go back. My father always told us, I don't care how big a person is, I don't care how tough they all can fall. So that just got me out of being in that situation of being bullied or controlled or however you put it, because he just taught me not to be scared of no one. And so once I got that, I think I grasped that probably in my 6th grade, going into my 7th grade year. And after that, then it was over. Wasn't nobody bullying me, wasn't nobody telling me what to do, no, none of that. And if you didn't want to be my friend, then you just don't want to be my friend. But, so, with the help of my father educating me, letting me know, this is who you are, and yeah, you're not going to do that. So I got through that part of my life, and it changed me. So my father passed away, like I said, when I was 18. I was in my 12th grade year. Life was great first, got to my 12th grade year. It was a struggle because I didn't like to do work, but got there, and he went into the hospital. High blood pressure was really, really bad, and he was at work and had a heart attack, and it was bad. Went to the hospital. He had a trait in his throat. It was like he went to work, and next thing you know, went to the hospital, and he had all these tubes and stuff, So that's seeing him normal, and then going to the hospital, seeing him like that. So that that's what I saw as an 18-year-old child, because I still was a child. I was they say per se young adult or teenager. I was a teenager. So 12th grade year, he gets in the hospital and everything, and then all of a sudden I'm at church. Left church, went to the hospital, stayed there, and stayed overnight with my mother. We was there at the hospital. Next thing you know, he was doing good to me, you know, and everything. So he got better, and then all of a sudden he stopped breathing. So he was on a breathing machine, and the machine was just doing all the work. Well, he went into he let me take it back. He was brain dead, and so his heart was pumping, and that was it. When I went in the room and see him, you could see his stomach moving, like where he was breathing and stuff. And it looked so fake because the machine was doing the work and he wasn't. And he just was laying there lifeless. So I was upset and everything. And then I think that that morning the nurse came in and said that he had passed away. So I didn't scream, yell, none at the time. I just was like, I don't know. I was shocked. I think, I don't know. So we had this funeral and everything, and at the funeral, I just lost it. I completely lost it. I was screaming, yelling, falling all over the place. I lost it. So so that went on and everything, and for a long time I was angry. I was bitter. Now I was thinking that he was going to come back. He was going to knock on the door. I just was having all type of stuff. I used to have dreams all the time, and he would come to me in my dreams all the time. Even up until my adulthood, I think. And then all of a sudden they just stopped. So, but yeah, I was angry, and at that point, I had an attitude with everybody. I ain't gonna say everybody, but I had attitude, and I just didn't care. So I was 18, and I dropped out of school, and because at that point in time, when I was growing up, if you were 16, you wasn't forced to go to school. I don't know how it is now, but you wasn't forced to go to school. Excuse me. So, I dropped out of school. I didn't want to go to school. I just didn't want to do anything. So at that point, I just felt like it was just over, So I got to the point where I was pushing the bottle away. It was just not good for me. Life was just not good for me as a child. So that went on, and I'm gonna say, even when that happened, I still feel like that my life was not horrible. It's just mentally, I was angry. So for years, I didn't go around my family, for as not my immediate family, for as my, other family, cousins and stuff like that, because he wasn't there. You know, my father wasn't there, and I'm talking about like his side of the family. I would go to family reunions every now and then. Sometimes I go, and sometimes I won't. You know, and so I don't know anybody that's ever lost a parent, but when you lose a parent and you're young like that, it's horrible. It's horrible because I didn't have a father going into adulthood. I seen the things that my father did as I was growing up as a teenager, but I didn't get that adult time with him. So it was not good for me, you know. But so it was kind of hard for me. For years, right after when he passed away, I cried a year straight, like a year straight. May have been longer, but and then after a while, I used to cry during um, not on his birthday, but like going into his birthday. So his birthday was February 14th. Is February 14th. So going into that, I would just cry, mourn, and I had no control over it. It would just happen. And sometimes I'd be thinking, what's going on? And then when I realized, I'm like, we're going to his birthday. So his birthday was February 14th, and then he passed away May the 23rd. So they wasn't that far apart. So that whole time I was emotional. So, so yeah. So you know, for some years I did that. Even after having kids, after getting married, I still was going through that. Okay. So I got married, so I had kids and everything, and my life to me was smooth, but like that. Wasn't right, but it was smooth. So either I was so busy raising my children, or that's how it was. But to me, it was smooth. Um, I had no issues raising my kids at all. I didn't have. I had a normal teenage, attitude, whatever, but nothing like bad behavior, disrespect, none of that. So those years of raising my children, I can say, probably was uh, the best years, if not one of the best years of my life. Time of my life, because I enjoy raising my kids. Some people they want to do this and do that, but I didn't. I enjoy raising my kids. I wasn't that person that wanted to hang out and do this, do that. I just didn't want to do that. So that's how it was. But from 91 till 2012, 13, I was raising kids. I had 3 kids. I have 3 kids, and so anyway, so those times I didn't really deal with a lot of hardship. Me and my husband went through some things. Whew. But not to the point where not to the point where I was had any like into, breakdowns or nothing like that. Nothing, like that. Just normal things that, marriage could go through. So, um, so those years of me raising my children was good. You know, we struggled, but that we just struggled a little. So it wasn't like nothing that we wasn't able to handle. Food, clothes, places to live, all that, you know. So that was, but I think that my father's death still was affecting me because I still was trying to find out what man am I going to have in my life to show and do those things. So I think it affected me because I always expected my husband to do that way because I didn't have my father. I had my mother, but I didn't have my father. And after you have your father in your life all those years, growing up and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden he's gone, and then because it was 3 years after my father passed when I had my first child. My father passed in '88. Had my first child in '91. No, it was 4 years, 3 years. So it was rough, confusing, hurtful, painful, but I got through it. Anybody that has lost a parent in their life, I don't care if they're a child, an adult, it does not matter. It is not easy at all. And so, but you got to keep going. And so I kept going, and I prayed through. Sometimes I was good, and sometimes I wasn't. Sometimes I would have moments, and my husband would be like, confused, because he's like, this has been years after you done passed, and it's like, but it don't work like that. 20, 30 years past, it doesn't work like that. It still seems, even after 30 years, well, my father's been gone past 30 years, even after that, I still have moments of why is he not here? Or how did why did this happen? But you do learn to deal with it. Well, you learn how to deal with it. And that's what I did. I learned how to deal with it. So, that was the early years of my life. From 18 to well in my 20s was more painful than now, because he wasn't here, my kids didn't see him. Stop thinking that because a person is around you and your family and everything, they fine. No, my father is gone. Why I want to be around you celebrating your, you know what I'm saying? That's just the way, that's the way you think. I want to celebrate, but my father's not here. So I'm here with you and yours, and you think I'm just supposed to be happy, hunky dory. Well, yeah, I'm supposed to be, but I can't. So, you know, leave people alone on that. Let them do them. If they want to come, they can. If they don't, it's always, well, you need to get out. No, I need to grieve the way I need to grieve. Everybody grieves different. And if you grieving, you go out and you hang out, whatever, and that helps you, well, that helps you, but that doesn't help me at all. So, my young adult years, uh, to me, was good, but I had a void. And I had to learn how to live with that void, raise my children, be a wife, different stuff like this, uh, be there for my mother and everything. And I had to do all that. And I still had a void. So, this is just what I went through from the age of 18 until into my young adult years, well into my 30s and 40s. This is what I had to endure. But I didn't have, you know, things wasn't bad for me. It's just that's where I was at mentally when I went around people and they got their father and he's doing this from them and doing it, and I'm thinking, if my daddy was here, I wouldn't have to worry about this. I wouldn't have to worry about this. I would have still been in school and everything. And I even got to the point where I was started trying to go back to school and everything, and just couldn't complete. I couldn't complete a lot of stuff, and now looking back, I'm like, I couldn't complete those things because I just couldn't see it clearly because it was clouded by, I don't really have to do those things. I don't have to. I don't have to go to school for what? I don't need this. I don't need that. And that was my mindset, and it was nothing that my husband required of me or of our relationship or whatever. It really didn't matter. But, so, you know, so I just went on, married with kids, lived our life and everything was good, and that was, like I said, I'm going to say from the age of 18 till mid 40s. It was, smooth. I'm gonna say mid 30s because it started kind of dwindling down in my late 30s. But we'll get to that point. So, I raised my kids. They was in school. They didn't really participate with a lot of stuff in school. They just didn't want to do all that extra stuff, which I was good with that because I wasn't a parent that liked to run around. I'm just not a mom, whatever. I didn't want to do all that. But they worked, stuff like that. And that was it. But this is what I want to say about this part one of my life. And I want to say that when you at certain parts of your life and certain things happen in certain parts of your life, um, it's different from you. Every event that happens in your life is different for you. This was different for me because I was young when all this happened, and I never I never dealt with it. I never got counseling, none of that, because I felt like I didn't need it, and I'll just be how I'm gonna be. All I know is my daddy's not here. He gone. So I accepted that part of my life, and that was it. And sometimes we do have to accept that this is how our life is, and this is how our life is gonna go. You know. But I do know the older I got, the more I had to trust God. That's what I realized. My relationship started getting stronger and stronger. So, yeah. So that's what I did. I just start really, really getting my word. Brought my kids up in church and everything. And those are the things that got me through. And my mama, because I was with my mama until I was 23, because I had 2 kids already by my husband. We weren't married, but I had 2 kids, and then when my second child was 3 months, I think. No, she might have been 6 weeks, whatever. But that's when I moved out and we got her a place. So, and even after that, I still was going through it. So I moved out, got us our first apartment, everything, and then I think 3 years later, I had another child, which is my baby daughter, and we was just living life, taking care of our kids, and stuff like that. And when I started having kids, I didn't really work. My husband worked, but I didn't really work. I didn't really start working until I had my last child. And then I actually went to work and just kept working. And that was in 96. Yep, that was in 96. And been doing it ever since. But I mean, I've been working. I started working when I was 16. But when I started having kids, I just got sick all the time. I was sick all the time. And so my husband was okay with it, so that's what I did. But so I had kids and everything, and everything was everything was everything was smooth. Everything was smooth. And sometimes life is smooth, and you think it's going great, and then boom, things start happening day by day, year by year, and you like, where did this come from? How did this happen? And that's what happened. That's what happened. I'ma say probably going into my 40s. It just started, but that's gonna be part two. So part one, I just wanted to talk about where I was at a young age and how I dealt with my situation as a young adult, and then raising my kids. And it wasn't easy, but I got through it, and you can too. But so there will be a part two, and I hope that you kind of got something out of this, or did get something out of this. So we're gonna have a part two, and it's probably gonna be a little more, maybe longer, or a little more intense. Okay, but um, hope you enjoy. Make sure you like, subscribe if you like. Put on your notifications so whenever a video comes up, you're notified. And I will be back for part two. Thank you.